Terry Jean Bollea, also known as Hulk Hogan, has sadly passed today, July 24th, 2025. Terry Jean Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan, was born on August 11th, 1953, in Augustina, Georgia, USA, and he sadly passed today, July 24th, 2025, in Clearwaters, Florida. It's reported that Hulk Hogan sadly passed at the age of 71 after suffering cardiac arrest. Following being hospitalized just weeks ago, he was already hospitalized, so his health wasn't good to begin with, and sadly, he suffered a cardiac arrest on top of that. So, I've been seeing a lot of, tweets and comments and posts on the internet regarding Hulk Hogan, and some of them are nice and others are really not. There's a lot of people, celebrating the fact that he passed away, and I know Hulk Hogan's history. He wasn't the best person outside of the ring, but I still feel like it's not that respectful, celebrating a man's death. This man has a family, he has kids and stuff like that. And some of the tweets I've been seeing are really outrageous. They're really of bad taste. And I'm just thinking, I'm like, dude, some of his family might stumble upon these tweets and they're going to have to read stuff like that. And it's just not nice. And what I'm trying to say is you don't have to like the person, you don't have to dislike them, you don't have to hate them, you don't have to do any of that. But like, keep in mind that, kindness is free, choose kindness. And if you don't have anything nice to say, maybe just pass on this one, I guess, because like celebrating a man's death, another person's death in general is just, in bad taste, in my opinion. And there's a lot of people talking about some throwing parties and stuff like that. And I feel like, man, that is really outrageous. I don't really like the feedback that we've been getting. It's kind of two-sided. Some parts are saying how much of a good wrestler he was, how much, his in-ring WWE stuff, wrestling-wise, which I agree. He was a monumental figure in the WWE and wrestling-wise. His influence was immeasurable. I agree on that part. I know he wasn't the best outside of the ring, but I still don't like the reception that we've been getting. A lot of people just saying, just like the most heinous stuff you could read, honestly. And I don't really like that. I just want to shed some light on the situation and talk about it and bring the news to you. So let's just talk a little bit about Hulk Hogan, out of respect. Hulk Hogan debuted in 1977. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame twice. The first time was in 2005 by Sylvester Stallone, and the second time was a group induction with the NWO in 2020. Hulk Hogan, born Terry Bollea, is one of the most iconic and influential figures in the history of professional wrestling. Known for his charisma, unmatched crowd connection, and trademark Hulkamania persona, Hogan became the face of WWE, then WWF. Throughout the 1980s and early 1990s, his larger-than-life presence helped catapult professional wrestling into the mainstream pop culture. As a headliner of multiple WrestleManias, Hogan was a central figure in the golden era of wrestling. He inspired millions with his catchphrases like "Say your prayers and eat your vitamins," his powerful in-ring comebacks known as "hulking up." In the mid-1990s, he reinvented himself by turning heel and forming the New World Order, NWO, and WCW, a move that revolutionized the wrestling industry and helped launch the Monday Night Wars. Hulk Hogan was a six-time WWE champion, six-time WCW World Heavyweight Champion, two-time Hall of Famer. He main evented 8 WrestleManias, including the very first WrestleMania in 1985. Hulk Hogan acted in numerous films and TV shows, becoming a pop culture figure beyond wrestling. Hulk Hogan helped sell out many arenas, countless arenas across the globe, and played a pivotal role in wrestling's explosion into the mainstream entertainment. Hulk Hogan's influence on professional wrestling is immeasurable, like I said. He was the first wrestler to truly transcend the sport, becoming a global icon and a household name. His image, voice, and red and yellow flair became synonymous with the professional wrestling for generations. Through Hulkamania and the NWO, Hogan helped define two of the most important eras in wrestling history. And that's basically what I wanted to say, just shed some light on it. He may not have been a good person outside of WWE, outside of the ring, but let's focus on the good stuff, and let's focus on the positives, his WWE stuff or like his wrestling stuff, if that's the positive for you, or whatever the positives for you are. Just focus on that. Just shed some positivity, send much love out to his, friends and family, support, stuff like that. And let's put the hate and, distasteful comments to the side for a little bit. And that's just all I wanted to say. Hulk Hogan did sadly pass at the age of 71, and we are saddened by this loss, and it's a major loss, especially in the wrestling community, you know? And I just want to say, rest easy, Hulk Hogan, rest in peace, rest easy. And I wish nothing but the best for his friends and family and all the love and support and positivity their way, you know? This is not something to celebrate. This is not something to, be joyous about. It's a sad occasion, and we hate to see this for anyone in general. So I just want to say, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Thank you for everything you've done for the wrestling industry as a whole. And that's that. I don't want to focus on the negatives. But anyhow, though, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to get that off my chest and make you aware of the situation. But anyhow, though, thank you for being here. Thank you for hearing me out. And thank you for showing up. I'm out.